Hello everybody, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to replace the front upper control arm. And I'm going to be demonstrating this on my 2002 Acura TL-S. And as you can see, mine is pretty badly bent due to being sideswiped by an unlicensed, uninsured, and overdosed lady. So that's great. Otherwise, these can sometimes need to be replaced due to the bushing going bad. And what you can do to test that is simply jack up the vehicle, place it on a jack stand, and you can take your control arm or your knuckle and you can wiggle right here. And if there's any loose play, that means this needs to be replaced. Now we're just gonna quickly purchase some parts so you can come to your favorite Acura or Honda parts website, and we're gonna select our vehicle. I've got a 2002 TL-S. Then we'll come down to chassis and we'll select knuckle. And here is the control arm. You'll notice there is one for the left driver side and the right passenger side. So select the one you need accordingly. And then you can reuse the castle nut. These usually last and hold up pretty well. And however, this little cotter pin, these have a tendency to rust. You can reuse it on your car if you feel like you want to. Otherwise, you can order this 2x35 pin. It's only 75 cents. You notice that it's kind of expensive for a new one, but these OEM ones, they last easily over 300,000 miles. But if you don't want to spend the full $200, you could always come to eBay and you could get a junkyard part. I got this one and look at how brand spanking new it looks. And for only 25 bucks, not bad, not bad. So why don't we get started? And as you can imagine, the first thing you need to do is lift your vehicle, put it on a jack stand, and remove your wheel. And then we're gonna remove the damper first. We gotta get this damper out so we can get to these two upper bolts for the control arm. So we're gonna come down here a little bit and we're gonna start by removing this nut. Actually, it's on this side. We're gonna remove this damper pinch bolt, and then there's one more down here on the fork. You can see there's a nut and a bolt combo. We're gonna remove those two nuts and bolts. To aid getting that nut off, you might need to come to the other side and take a wrench and hold the bolt in place so it doesn't just start spinning freely. Then we can take the hammer and kind of hammer down on the fork. There we have it. Sometimes you might need a little extra room to get that fork out the rest of the way. So what you can do is come up top and loosen these bolts just a little bit to give yourself some wiggle room. And to remove it, I just simply took the damper itself. I kind of gave it a tug towards the front of the vehicle like that. And then I lifted it up and out in the other direction. Next, we got to remove this little cotter pin from the castle nut. And we're just going to simply, or not so simply, but if you wiggle it out like that, eventually it'll start making its way. Almost. Easier with. There we go. Now we can remove the castle nut. Don't forget to remove this little bracket bolt here too. Now we can just take a hammer and kind of hammer up on that bolt. goes. And then we can loosen these bolts the rest of the way, and we can work on taking out the entire damper assembly. A little bit. Come on now. Hey, damper's out. And now we can remove these two bolts holding the damper in. And then we can remove our control arm. Hooray! Then we can put the new control arm back in place. Try and line it up. Start the new bolt without blocking your view. There we go. Put the other bolt in. All right, then we can torque these bolts down to 47 foot-pounds. Now we can try and maneuver this damper back in place. Let's give that a go. Kind of went up and under last time. Get out here. Up we go. Then you'll need to come up top and put a bolt on one of the nuts so the damper stays in place. So I've got the damper bolts very loosely installed, so that way we can next get our fork loosely installed. So we're gonna try and maneuver that on. There we go. And we'll try and wiggle it back up. Hey, there we go. Next, what we'll do is we will loosely install that bolt and nut at the bottom of the fork, as well as we will also loosely install this damper pinch bolt as well. And just like when we took this nut off initially, when putting it back on, again, we might need to take a 17mm wrench, hold that bolt so it doesn't start spinning freely. Then we can connect the knuckle to the control arm, like so. There we go. And then we can install our little bracket and get our little bolt. And we're gonna snug that on. And then we're also gonna get our castle nut, and we're gonna get that started as well. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna torque the castle nut, and we're gonna do it incrementally until we can get the cotter pin in through the hole in the bolt and also through the slits in the castle nut. So we're gonna start with the lowest torque setting range, which is 29 foot-pounds. So let's start with that. All right, we're at 29 foot-pounds. Let's take a look. So as you initially torque it down to 29 foot-pounds, it might look a little something like that where the actual castle nut is blocking the hole, but you can torque it incrementally by a foot-pound at a time up to 35 foot-pounds until eventually it looks a little something like that. You can see this one's lined up perfectly. I can stick my pin through there and we should be all set. Now we can insert our cotter pin and we can just bend it down just like that, and we can bend the other one up. There we go. And then we can cut off the excess with some little clippers like these, just right here. The same thing for the other side. There we go. And then we can maybe press this in the rest of the way with a little screwdriver or something. Go. Now what we need to do is take our jack and we're gonna place it under the knuckle just like so. Try and get towards the most lateral portion of the knuckle as you can. And then we are going to lift the vehicle up by the knuckle just enough until it comes off of our jack stands. Oh, and there we go. Maybe just a tiny bit more. You can see the car is now off of the jack stand. Now we can resume torquing the rest of those bolts. When jacking it up, you want to make sure that you didn't accidentally tighten your pinch bolt too tight to the point that the damper can't go in the fork. So you'll see there's a little divot right there. So as we jack it up a little bit here, you'll see it kind of go the rest of the way in. That's what you want to see as you're jacking it up. We can start by torquing the upper pinch bolt to 32 foot-pounds. Then we can torque that lower fork bolt nut down to 47 foot-pounds. Now what we can do is we can torque the 3 larger bolts to 37 foot-pounds. Then we can torque the 2 smaller bolts to 12 foot-pounds. And then we can carefully lower our jack and lower the vehicle back onto the jack stand. And there we have it. And you can put your wheel back on and you are all finished installing your new upper control arm. Well, thank you guys so much for watching my video today. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, why don't you go ahead and smash that like button, and also consider subscribing, where you'll find more videos like this one, as well as you'll be able to follow me on my journey fixing my car after I got sideswiped. I'll also be making a fender video and a steering tie rod video. Also, I made a new purchase back there. Why don't you leave a comment and take a guess as to what you think it might be. I'll be making more videos on that vehicle as well. Also, don't forget to check out my description, where I'll be leaving more information, torque specs, timestamps, links to parts and whatnot. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day and take care.